In the sleepy town of Black Hollow, nestled far from the nearest highway, stood an old furniture shop, Morrisons Curios and Upholstery. Its weathered sign creaked in the wind, and though the shop looked like it hadn't seen a proper customer in years, it never seemed to close. The owner, Mr. Amos Morrison, was a quiet, wiry old man, always dressed in the same dust-covered apron, his thinning white hair combed back neatly. His gray eyes had a peculiar way of following you, though he rarely spoke more than a word in passing. Amos had been the town's furniture maker and restorer for over 40 years. His work was impeccable. Leather chairs that fit the body like a glove, couches that felt like sitting on clouds, and ottomans so soft they seemed to breathe beneath you. The townspeople loved his craftsmanship, praising the unmatched quality of his pieces. But there was something strange about his work, something no one could quite put their finger on. The leather he used, so smooth, so perfect, never seemed to age, never cracked or faded. But no one in Black Hollow questioned Amos. Why would they? He was a fixture in the town, a solitary figure who had lived through its many generations. Only outsiders noticed the oddities. The missing people who would occasionally vanish after funerals. The strange smell that sometimes wafted from the back of the shop after dark. And the eerie warmth of the furniture, as if it absorbed the heat of anyone who sat upon it. What no one knew was that Amos had a secret. Late at night, long after the town had gone to sleep, Amos would unlock the back door of the shop and disappear into the cellar. It was a place no customer ever saw. The stairs creaked under his weight as he descended into a room that smelled of formaldehyde and death. The cellar was lined with tools, knives, scalpels, hooks, and vats filled with strange chemical solutions that bubbled faintly under the dim light. In the corner of the room was a large wooden table stained with dark, dried fluids. On it lay his latest project, the body of a woman recently deceased. Her skin, pale and taut, had been meticulously peeled from her arms and legs. Amos worked with the precision of a surgeon, removing the skin in long, clean strips. He had perfected his craft over the years, knowing exactly how to make the cuts so that the skin remained intact, unblemished. Amos paused for a moment, wiping sweat from his brow with a bloodied rag. He hummed quietly as he worked, lost in the rhythm of his macabre task. The woman had been buried just 2 days ago, her body lying peacefully in the town cemetery. But Amos had other plans for her. He had been watching her for weeks before her death, knowing she would make the perfect addition to his latest collection. Once the skin was removed, he carefully treated it in one of the vats, soaking it in a solution that would preserve its elasticity, smoothness, and warmth. It was a process he had developed over years of trial and error, something he had discovered in old, forbidden books he had stumbled upon in his youth. The secret was in the preservation. Treated correctly, the skin would never decay, never rot. It would remain as soft and supple as it had been in life. By dawn, the skin would be ready to stretch over the frame of his latest commission, a custom-made armchair for Mr. Hawthorne, the town's mayor. Amos smiled to himself, imagining the man lounging in his new chair, blissfully unaware of the human leather beneath his fingertips. The people of Black Hollow would never suspect a thing. They never had. Amos had been crafting furniture from human skin for years, each piece more intricate, more grotesquely beautiful than the last. He had become an artist of flesh, turning death into luxury. But it wasn't just about the craftsmanship. For Amos, there was something deeper, something more primal about the process. The skin carried with it the essence of the deceased, their warmth, their memories. When he sat in one of his creations, he could feel them, hear them whispering to him in soft, barely audible voices. It was as if their spirits lived on in the furniture, trapped within the fibers of their own flesh. And so, Amos worked in secret, feeding his insatiable need for more material. Each time someone in town passed away, he would wait patiently, visiting the cemetery under the cover of darkness, his tools hidden beneath his coat. The bodies would be returned to their graves, missing only their skin, and no one was the wiser. The townspeople trusted him implicitly. They never questioned the perfection of his furniture, never wondered where he sourced his materials. In fact, they praised him for his ability to make something so beautiful from seemingly nothing. But secrets like Amos's can only stay hidden for so long. It was a cold winter's night when a new arrival came to town. Detective Claire Winters, a woman of sharp mind and even sharper instincts, had been sent to investigate a series of unexplained disappearances that had begun to plague nearby towns. Black Hollow was on her list, and something about the place immediately unsettled her. On her second day in town, she heard about Amos's shop. The locals spoke of him with admiration, but Claire noticed something in their tone. A strange reverence, almost as if they feared him. And when she saw the furniture, something about it didn't sit right with her. The leather was too perfect, too lifelike. Her instincts told her something was wrong. That night, she broke into the shop, guided by a hunch she couldn't shake. The musty smell of old wood and polish filled her nose as she slipped past the showroom and into the back, her flashlight casting long shadows on the walls. It was then that she found the door leading to the cellar. Her heart pounded as she descended the stairs, her flashlight flickering in the stale air. When she reached the bottom, the smell hit her. Rot, chemicals, and something else, something metallic. Her light swept over the room, illuminating the vats, the tools, the blood-stained table, and the half-flayed corpse lying upon it. Claire gagged, stumbling back, her hand covering her mouth. Her mind raced, piecing together the horrifying reality of what Amos had been doing. But before she could react, she heard the soft creak of footsteps behind her. Amos stood at the top of the stairs, a scalpel in hand, his gray eyes cold and unfeeling. "You weren't supposed to see this," he said, his voice calm, almost gentle. "But no matter. I've been needing new material." And in that moment, Claire knew she wouldn't be leaving Black Hollow. The next morning, Amos opened his shop as usual, a serene smile on his face. In the corner of the showroom sat a brand new armchair, its leather gleaming in the early morning light. And as the townspeople passed by, they admired the craftsmanship, never knowing that the soft, supple material beneath their hands had once belonged to the detective who had come looking for the truth.